All right. Number six. Number six, a reason that to be pre-trib is there's more than one rapture in the Bible, and I was already alluding to that. All right, so what you actually find is you find this phrase "come up hither" 3 times, and this is all these 3 come up hithers finalize the first resurrection there that you find in Revelation 20. And we've talked about this with the first fruits and all those kind of things, the gleanings, and I don't want to get into all that, but you find the phrase "come up hither" 3 times. You find it in Proverbs 25:7. For it is better that it be said unto thee, "Come up hither," than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thine eyes have seen. All right, then you find it in Revelation 4:1, as I read earlier. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, "Come up hither." All right. And then you have Revelation 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, "Come up hither." And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. All right. So what's up with that? Well, it's the first come up hither is the Old Testament saints coming out of paradise. So if you remember that, many of them are. So when Christ went, during the gospel, his death on the cross, and his burial, he went to the center of the earth, and he preached captivity captive. And those believers, those Old Testament saints, were in Abraham's bosom. Well, when he preached to them and the blood was applied, they then had access to the third heaven. And so majority of them went to the third heaven. Some of them actually, which is interesting, went back to the earth. They resurrected on the earth, which is crazy. But that was the first come up hither. Then Revelation 4:1, that come up hither is talking to the church, pre-tribulation. And then Revelation 11 is the tribulational saints that are being raptured up to the third heaven, again, about 3/4 of the way through the tribulation, right before he comes back for the second advent and for the millennium. All right. So again, this is why, gosh, I even hear good guys, like guys that I like, people that I used to go to church with, and they'll say stuff like, "Man, you better be careful with all that pre-trib, like the Bible, there's scripture that supports the other end of the argument." That's what they'll say. Well, yeah, there's other raptures in the Bible. Like, again, this is the problem when we make the whole Bible about the church. This is the problem with that. When we make the church and ourselves the central theme of the Bible, we again start equating other portions of the Bible and make it directly to us, and it's not. So there is other raptures. There is, again, the phrase "come up hither" elsewhere. It does show up. Someone could go to Revelation 11 and say, "Hey, look right here. Look at this voice from heaven calling up people." And it's in the tribulation. What are you going to do with this? Well, what I do with that is that's not the church. And it's like I had this guy on YouTube one time comment, and we've had this kind of thing a lot. But he commented and was saying he was laying out stuff about the saints and the tribulation, and he kept referencing the fact that it said saints, and he was equating those saints to the church. And I said, "Bro, that's your problem. Your problem is that you make every reference of the word saint to the church age, and it's not all about us. We're not the only saints. We're not the end all be all. We are just a parenthesis in the whole timeline and economy of God's plan. We're not the central thing." And so why do we do that? Why do we we do that because we like ourselves, which is normal. That's why the Lord tells us to love others as ourselves, because we got no problem loving ourselves. It's very natural. But it's just easy to view the Bible as a Christian book rather than a spiritual history book about the Lord's plan.